All right.
Welcome to the Too Posh Podcast.
I am Gabrielle. I'm a former New York Mafia princess, originally from Austria. I am the mother of 3 and the owner of Too Posh Boutique. And here with my beautiful co-host, Marcella, my daughter.
Hello, I'm Marcella. I'm a dancer, choreographer, model, and designer for Too Posh. And I say whatever the I want.
Hi, my name is Cruz. I am a stylist. I also own the Society Salon in the Design District, and I am a short little Mexican with a big personality.
I am Polly. I am a certified sexual health consultant and educator, former professional dominatrix, currently working at the largest adult novelty store in the Texas Panhandle.
What will they say next? Welcome to the Too Posh Podcast.
I kind of like this new way of doing things, Spider.
We've upgraded a little bit.
Love
Yes,
it.
very cool. Welcome, everyone. I don't even have to introduce you anymore,
no.
except I have to say hi to Spider.
Yeah, and I have a camera in here now, so I also have a new song.
Oh,
Here
what
we
is
go.
it?
Yeah, Spider. I love that I can see you.
That's awesome.
And you look so cool and professional in there
Yes.
with all your
Wow.
stuff.
It's a lot of stuff.
I
There's a
love
lot.
I'm
it.
not gonna lie, I don't know what I'm doing half the time now.
And now our people who've listened can see you.
Yes, finally.
Yeah.
The name with
After
the face.
3
Yes.
years.
We've always called him our Charlie.
Yeah.
I love
This
it.
is really great. We have a very special guest on today. So welcome, Rudy Vasquez. Do I say that right? I
That's right.
didn't. How do you say it?
Vasquez.
Oh,
Vasquez.
Yeah. We are very honored that you're here and you brought your little son too. He's so adorable.
Thank you.
Rudy, we want to have you tell your story because you have quite an amazing story. And I researched you a little bit and I had some tears and all kinds of things. So I want you to share your story with our listeners and kind of start like short little where you grew up and kind of thing and then get into.
Tell us
What
a
you
little
wanna
bit
share.
about yourself
Yes.
and then kind of lead on to it.
Well, thank you for having me. It's
Well-
an honor to be here. Well, I am originally from Oak Cliff, which is right down the street.
Yeah.
Oak
And
Cliff,
That's my
Dallas.
hood.
Oak Cliff, Dallas.
Before it was what you know Oak Cliff to be today.
It's still kind of gangster.
Well, if you go further south, it is, I guess.
It's also gigantic. Oak Cliff is huge.
You know, at one time they tried to make it its own city, annex it,
Oh.
Really?
but they didn't. They didn't pass that.
Yeah.
So I'm from Oak Cliff. I grew up playing soccer. That's all I ever really did was play soccer. Represented United States.
Oh,
way.
wow.
Yeah.
What, like,
For what? For soccer. Like in different tournaments, we went to France, England,
what,
Portugal.
as
So
a
you're on a
child?
team.
Or
As a child, yeah.
oh, wow.
Oh,
That's very
wow.
cool.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like is that like a pre-professional type situation? Or?
Yeah, it's like playing on the Olympic team.
Oh,
Wow.
wow. That's cool.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
didn't know
I'm
that.
from Austria and soccer is
It's huge, yeah.
So
It's huge everywhere except for
Except
here.
here.
That is weird, though,
Yeah.
isn't it?
So yeah, I played soccer. Went to SMU. Played soccer
oh,
at
wow,
SMU.
You did.
Yeah.
Wait,
Uh,
when did you graduate?
Yeah.
SMU?
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna make me tell my age.
Okay. Well, I was just curious.
I'm kidding. I graduated in 2004, but I was on the 5-year program.
Do you know Asher Hamilton?
I know Asher very well.
He was our neighbor.
I was just with him the other day.
Stop.
Okay.
Okay, I've known.
We played together.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna
When you
say.
just said that.
So
I was
I've known Asher since I was 5.
Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, Asher and I grew up playing together on the same youth club team, actually.
Oh,
Oh my
wow.
gosh. I've
They
known
know
him my whole.
everybody.
I know,
literally.
but I've known him my whole life. So when
Yeah.
you said that, I was like, wait.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Me too.
You
I
have to
thought
tell
of
him
him
we
right
said
away.
hi.
Well, you can tell him yourself.
Yeah, I know. That's true. Well, tell him you came on.
Okay,
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love
That's
it.
so crazy.
Okay, sorry. Side
I
note.
will. So yeah, I played soccer at SMU, and after I graduated, I got into real estate, and that's all I've ever done. I don't think I've ever had a job.
Real estate
awesome.
is a job.
Well, you know, not
You
if you're
love
having
it.
fun, right?
Yes.
That's
That's awesome.
cool.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and then so as you can see clearly, I'm in a wheelchair now, which is crazy. It's
What
still
happened?
surreal. I was in a car accident.
How long ago?
into October of 2017. So in October is going to be 4 years.
Oh my gosh, that's
Wow.
not long.
Yeah, no, not long at all. I was 30. I had just turned 36.
Wow.
Yeah, and
So tell us lead up to that day. What happened?
well, I was my good friend Bruce Harris,
Mhm.
who's no longer with us. Had told me we used to go to basketball games all the time.
Mhm.
His brother played for the team, so
Like Mavs?
for the Mavs.
Okay.
Right.
His brother was Devin Harris, right?
Right.
Oh.
So we used to go to games all the time, like it was nothing out of the norm.
Mhm.
And we were together a lot, and so leading up to the opening season in 2017, he had asked me if I wanted to go to the opening game.
Mhm.
So I said sure. Again, normal, right?
Mhm.
So, and that day I totally forgot about it, and I was so tired from work. You know, I didn't want to do anything. I almost canceled on him, which is crazy to think about now. You know.
Yeah.
So he called me, and I just felt so bad. I was like, you know what? There's no way, because we planned this 2 or 3 weeks in advance, and you know, those are great seats, obviously.
Right.
So
And you
I
didn't want to let your friend down.
I didn't
so
want to
you-
let him
yeah.
down, right?
Right.
So I felt bad because he had reserved those tickets for me, and I was like, okay, well, come on. He came and picked me up, and he picked me up in this old school car. It was a gift from his brother. I'm not really sure what was it. It was like a '74 Le Mans, and it was just like this old school. It looked really cool.
Yeah.
So he picked me up at my condo, and we drove to Moxie's, had a drink there, and then we just hopped over to the game. Watched the game. After the game, we went to dinner,
Mhm.
met up with my brother, and then we just kind of hopped around. On the way home, I mean, it was midnight, maybe. It was a really early night.
Yeah.
We stopped at Counter Room, which is Knox Henderson, right?
Right, correct.
So, you know, and I mean, Bruce knew everybody. So we stopped at Candle, and I was still tired. I was still beat, and I wasn't even drinking. It was a really easygoing night. So, I mean, we must have been at Candle maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes max. And we looked at each other. We're like, "You ready?" And we both kind of nodded our heads like, "Yeah, let's go."
Yeah.
So, we hop in his car, and at the time I lived in Preston Hollow, so we're going north, and he lived in like far north Dallas at the time. So we're going north on 75, and the car just stalls, like
On the highway.
on the highway, like just the engine just shut off, and so
and it's dark.
it's dark. I mean, it's in. You would think 75. It was at 75 in Walnut Hill, so
Yeah.
you would think that it was pretty well lit still, though.
Yeah.
So the car, I mean, the engine just completely shuts off, and
What lane are you in?
we're in the middle left lane. So we tried to make it to the shoulder, on the right side, and you know the momentum of the car takes us pretty far along. I don't know the distance exactly, but we stalled on the far right lane. We didn't make it to the shoulder, and literally less than a minute later, a car hits us going full speed. Must have been going 60, 70 miles an hour. And
Coming just on the expressway.
on the expressway, actually, the car exploded.
The car that hit you or your car?
The car we were in
Exploded.
It exploded, blew up. I have pictures, and the car, you could hardly recognize it.
Because it was an older car, maybe. Or
Well, the gas tank was in the back. So
Oh.
I mean,
Oh my god.
I'm not really sure, but yeah, it exploded, and I woke up, and they're dragging me out of the window of the car, and the car's on fire.
I was about to ask that.
Yeah, the car's still on fire. So they're dragging me out of the window of the car. I actually try to get out, but I was already paralyzed, I guess. Because
Immediately?
yeah, so what happened, my injury was, well, I broke my neck, broke my back, and broke ribs, but the major injury was my back. But when my back broke, it compressed my spinal cord, which is why I'm paralyzed now. So I have a spinal cord injury, and for people that don't know what that is, it's we have a cord that connects from our brain down to the column of your body that runs down your spine, right? And the bones are actually around the spinal cord to protect it because it's the most sensitive part of the body. So the spinal cord is what sends messages from your brain to the nerves throughout your body for sensation, movement. You know, so when you move your leg, it's a message that's triggered by your brain that travels through your spinal cord to your left leg or right leg, whichever leg you instruct to move, for it to move. And that's how you walk, right? So when you compress it, think of it as a banana. And when you compress a banana,
Comes out like that.
yeah, it's just smushy, right?
Yeah.
Well, the way the doctors explained it to me was the only way to regain movement and sensation is to put it back in its original form. So when you compress a banana, try putting that back in its original form. It's pretty much impossible.
Right.
So I tried getting out of the window, and my legs just felt really heavy, and so I couldn't really get out.
And you remember all of this vividly?
Yeah.
Were you hurting or scared?
I think I was in shock.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it was strange because I felt eerily calm throughout the whole thing.
Really?
Yeah. I felt really calm.
Now you were sitting in the car in the passenger seat when this happened,
Yeah.
And it's on
and
fire.
they just
Do
hit
you
you
have
from the back.
burn
I
wound?
didn't know. I didn't. They put the fire out before. But I did feel fear at one point from the fire because I thought that I was about to catch on fire. It was so close to me.
Right.
But they made it to me in time, but put it out and managed to get me out of the window.
And your friend.
So I look over at him and he's just he's out.
Yeah.
Like he's unconscious.
And he was sitting in the driver's seat.
Yeah. So what I think occurred with him was, I mean, they hit us so hard. So when they hit us, his head flew forward, and it's an older car, so it doesn't have airbags.
Oh my God.
Right. So
Were y'all wearing your seatbelts?
I was not. I don't remember if he was or not, but I think it wouldn't have mattered
Yeah.
because his head hit the steering wheel, and it was a wooden steering wheel.
Oh.
So
So he died in the accident.
he died 12 hours later. Yeah.
From
Oh,
head
wow.
injury.
Head injury. So he had a brain. All I remember was, and all this is really hazy because I was already, in the hospital, and they put me in my room and they were in his room. But his brain was bleeding and they couldn't stop the bleeding from his brain. So I don't know exactly what the cause of death was, but I think it was like a brain tuition maybe.
Right.
Wow.
Wow. So you see your best friend right here, like just kind of loopy, still
Yeah, and
alive.
I really thought he was going to make it, because he wasn't bleeding. He looked perfectly fine. Like I'm looking at you guys right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know he had hit his head on the steering wheel at the time. And I'm trying to shake him because there's a fire going on, and I'm trying to shake him. I'm like, Bruce, get out of the car. And he's just, kind of bobbing his head. And I'm like, wake up. At the same time, I'm trying to get out myself, but I can't. So,
and the car's still on its four wheels. It's
Yeah.
just
I didn't know this at the time, but it's been a long process, obviously, right? In getting police reports and a whole bunch of other stuff. But apparently the impact threw us, a pretty long way, and the car turned completely the opposite direction. So when we landed, or when we stopped from the impact, we were facing south on 75 when we were traveling north.
Right.
Wow. You did like a 180.
We did a 180, yeah.
So the person who hit you, were they injured?
No.
No.
The only ones that were injured were Bruce and I.
Were they sober?
They were sober.
Oh wow! It just happened so
The
fast.
accident.
I wouldn't say he was texting, but we'll never know.
Mhm.
You can't figure. They can't figure that out, or they didn't.
Or they won't.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
He's
No.
denying, probably.
Yeah.
I mean,
Wow.
yeah. So they pull me out of the car. They lay me down next to the ambulance, and I'm trying to sit up. This is another thing that I've always wondered. I've never told anybody this, by the way. So at the time, my back is broken, right? And they're telling me to lay calmly, but I'm kind of freaking out because Bruce is still in the car.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, get him out. So I remember, like, I was laying flat on my back, and I actually sat up trying to kind of get up because I felt fine. I guess it was the adrenaline. I'm not really sure. And they pushed me back down. They said, you need to lay there and sit and lay still because you can further injure yourself. So if I had the
Knowledge.
not the knowledge, if I had, the mobility to sit up, because now I can't, if I'm laying flat on my back, I can't just do a sit up like I used to, right? I'm wondering if I further injured myself, but
Oh wow.
it's kind of hard. It's
Yeah.
one of those places that I try not to go to.
Right.
right.
It's
Right.
it's a difficult space to enter.
Right.
But so
The what ifs.
yeah,
Oh.
I mean,
there's so many shoulda, coulda, wouldas
I
in
know.
life.
but that's a beautiful part of life, though.
Yeah.
We end up where we need to be.
Right.
And a lot of people, look at me and they ask me, the biggest question that I get all the time is, how are you so happy? And just because I've been able to identify who I really am and let go of my ego, which eliminates fear, eliminates, all this negativity,
Mm-hmm.
and really come to terms with who I am. Not Rudy, because that's just a name that's given to this body, right? That's not who I really am. That's just how people know me. But with my being,
Mm-hmm.
and that's who we are. We're a being. We're not, we're not an ego. We're just consciousness. That's what we are.
My goodness.
Awareness.
Yeah.
So, with the process that I've gone through in life since the injury, because it was tragic at first. It was so difficult.
So did they tell you, like when you were in the hospital, were you trying to move and stuff?
Oh yeah, I still try.
Yeah.
No.
I still try every day.
Is there any hope at all?
Uh,
Like with so much advancement in our medicine? and stuff
According
like
to the
that?
doctors, or I mean, I just, for me, yeah, I know I'm gonna walk one day.
Yeah.
But that's not my ultimate goal anymore.
Yeah.
Like I know I can be happy, which I am, without walking.
Mhm.
Walking doesn't define who I am.
Right.
I'm still me. I can still look at Cruz and hang out with him and love him. I'm sitting here talking to you guys.
Yeah.
I mean, I get
Yeah.
to see this little guy every day,
Right.
which is my why.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I get to do everything that I've always done. I just do it differently now.
Right.
Just a readjustment of everything a little bit. I mean, in the beginning, I'm sure.
Right.
When we hang out, he drives me around. For real, I'm
I
not even
do,
joking.
yeah. I do.
Oh my God, I love it.
So yeah, so they put me in the ambulance,
Mhm.
and so the accident occurred off of 75 Walnut Hill. They admitted me to Presbyterian, which is literally like a couple of blocks away, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I remember going into the hospital and then them asking me contact information for my family so they can notify my family. And I don't remember my mom's number. I don't remember my dad's number. I don't remember my brother's number. But I do remember one phone number, which is my childhood best friend. His name's G. And I knew his number by heart. I gave him the phone number and I passed out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I passed out. Apparently woke up like 3 days later.
What?
Yeah.
Oh
Wow.
my gosh.
3 days.
Yeah. they didn't tell me that Bruce had died until 5 days later. It was apparently on the news and stuff, and they took my device. They took my phone away. They wouldn't let me watch TV because they wanted, my family wanted to be the one to tell me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they didn't want me to find out through news.
Yeah.
That's understandable. So you had two, like your best friend die, and you have the news that you can't walk.
Right.
Who told you that?
The doctor?
And did you know this before they told you, or
No.
You were just,
Like my legs just, you know how when you sit on your leg, it kind of
Falls
tingly and it
asleep.
falls asleep and it goes numb. It's kind of how it feels
all the time?
all the time, except you can't move. So
So it's still a sensation.
it's
that
still a
is
sensation, yeah. But it's a numbing sensation.
numbing.
Yeah. So they were taking me into surgery or something. And I was asking them, am I going to be able to walk again? And he goes, you have maybe a 1% chance. And I said, okay.
Wow.
1%?
1%. Yeah.
Wow.
And I mean, I've been running with him, and like, 5-6 miles to him is nothing.
Yeah, I used to run 5 miles a day.
Yeah.
I mean, I played soccer my whole life.
Yeah.
So
Right. So being someone who is so, athletic and all that stuff, that has to be very, you didn't sit a lot, or still. Like, I can't imagine that the thoughts at first.
the thoughts are dark.
Yeah.
And, I think that's what I had a battle more than anything was my mind.
Mm-hmm.
But, if you learn to calm your mind, life can be beautiful.
Yeah. Or anxiety. A lot of anxiety.
Well, I read on your Facebook, I read that whole thing you wrote about your son and that he's your why, and that at first it was difficult because he didn't want to come see his dad in the hospital, hurt, which makes a lot of sense. I totally get that.
Yeah.
And then you said that you felt like you failed him. I was reading that. I was
I'm
like, oh my
crying.
goodness. I mean, you did nothing wrong. This is just.
That's the hard part.
Mhm.
It's just an emotion that you get. It's a feeling that you just feel guilt, probably, that you can't do what you want to do with him.
Well, it's a belief, right, that I had at that time. And, that's one of the things that I've done throughout my recovery process is just change my belief system. So then I believed that I had failed him because I couldn't do physical things with him, right? Which my whole life was physical.
Mm-hmm.
So I believed at that time that in order for me to live a fulfilling life, I have to have a physical life. But, fast forward almost 4 years later, I believe that he's gained some of the biggest and more important things, or he's learned way more important things than knowing how to kick a soccer ball, knowing how to catch a football. He's learned compassion, which to me
Mm-hmm.
is probably the best attribute a human being can have.
Mm-hmm.
Thoughtfulness. I mean, it's crazy to see him at 9 years old and see how he thinks outside of himself. And he's learned all that because he has, he's my helping hand now. Like, he's constantly with me, and he knows without him that it's going to be difficult for me to do things, right? But he helps me with everything. And so he's constantly, his mindset is different, whereas a 9-year-old that isn't experiencing the things that he's experiencing, it's all I, right?
Yeah. Yes.
It's all ego.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Very true.
for him to live this experience, like he's learned, I think, some of the biggest and best character traits that a human being can have, just thoughtfulness, caring, compassion, empathy. you know, and I'd much rather him be a beautiful human than to be the best athlete in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's deep, man.
That is.
You're a true inspiration, Rudy. Seriously.
Truthfully.
What were some of the things that helped you get through the times that were really hard? Because I would imagine that could help anyone, because that's, you know, that is going through anything at all. And this is so extreme.
Right.
And sometimes we get upset about really little things.
Meditation.
Oh, wow.
I meditate every day.
Did you
Really?
before?
I did before, not nowhere near as much as I do today.
Wow.
Meditation and changing your belief systems, you know? I mean, challenging your ego,
Mm-hmm.
eliminating your ego. And
How do you do that though? Like, that's when you say that, it sounds really great, but is there a step that you do, like?
self-awareness. So put yourself in a situation, or think back on a situation where that's caused you to feel upset, right? And you feel upset because it's ego.
Mm-hmm.
It's ego's any self-identifying feeling or thought.
Like feeling like you have been done wrong by someone.
Right.
Like that as an example.
Right.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you say to me right now, can we cuss on this?
Yes.
Yeah.
We're explicit.
So if you say to me right now, you know, you're a piece of shit, right? And I feel offended, it's not my being that's offended, it's my ego that's offended. Because how dare you say that to me? It's that that self-identifying. So how do you learn what that is? You gotta become very self-aware. You know, I became self-aware through meditation. So when I meditate, and a lot of people will tell you, I can't meditate. I stop. You know, I just start thinking everything. That's perfect. Become aware of those thoughts that you're thinking.
Oh, I've never heard it
I
put
know.
like that, because I've tried to meditate and it is very difficult for me.
Me too. I can't do it.
Yeah. So
I mean, I think it's an amazing
He said
thing.
it's perfect.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
it is. So you know, when you meditate and close your eyes, the ego is going to bring to the forefront of your thoughts everything that it wants, that it's thinking. Oh, stop meditating because you got to answer this email. Stop, and it's just gonna your mind's just gonna be rushed with thoughts. And if you can sit through it long enough, and it's gonna be uncomfortable because your mind's gonna tell you every reason you have to stop meditating and go do whatever it is it wants you to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, but if you can sit through that uncomfort and push through that time, you can get to that place of quietness. And then you start really learning who you are.
Wow.
And I think that's one thing that's kind of difficult about meditating is clearing the mind.
You got to let the mind run first. Once it gets tired, it's going to stop.
How long does that take?
Everybody's different.
Everybody is different. Like my roommate in Vegas,
Oh,
she, I am a dancer. So we were together at a dance competition, and she every day could meditate for 15 minutes. And I was like, Renee, how? But she is a very spiritual, I mean, very much so, but 15 minutes. She put headphones on and she would just sit there and meditate. And I was so impressed because I was like, I'm at like a minute, if that. It's so hard for me. But she's really good at it, and it brings her so much peace. And
Is there, I mean,
there's apps that help
oh,
you.
there is.
There are.
I use them a lot.
Okay.
There are. So meditation helped you. Did you do yoga before, or you were just into meditation?
You know, I just had started doing yoga right before my injury, like less than a year.
Okay.
Yeah. I loved it.
Mm-hmm. I loved it all the time.
I know. I wish I can go do yoga now.
Yeah. Is there activities and stuff that you found you can do? Because I follow a dancer who got in a car accident and she is paralyzed, and she dances in her wheelchair at dance studios, but just from her arms up and her head.
Right.
But she's found purpose in that, and she's tries to inspire others by still moving in that capacity. But I don't know what's available or what are things that maybe you found that you can do that bring you that same kind of feeling.
You're at the gym a lot.
Yeah, I'm at the gym a lot, but it's not a physical thing for me anymore.
Yeah.
Like I'm still very active physically. Like I go to the gym and work out a lot all the time, because I have to depend on my upper body to move my whole body now, right? But man, I think now it's more about playing with experiences for me. You know, so I have a good friend of mine. His name is Ben, and he's the one that kind of has helped me through this process of eliminating my ego, challenging my belief systems, and really manifesting and creating what we want in life. Because I mean, think about it. We can create anything. This is our reality. The only thing that's real to us is this moment right now. Not what we're gonna do at dinner at 6 p.m. Not what we did last night, but this moment right here. So staying present, you know. You asked, how do we identify with our ego, or how do we eliminate it? That's one of the ways, is staying present and being aware of your thoughts, and your thoughts create emotions. So you use those emotions as a guide to become aware of your thoughts. So if I see that I'm feeling upset in a certain environment constantly, then I'm going to start realizing, what am I thinking in that environment that's causing me to feel upset? And just bringing self-awareness to yourself. But it's not a physical thing to me. It's like, well, what can I create now? So, you know, all my friends went to Sedona for New Year's this year. And they you know, we take trips all the time now. And they'd taken trips all the time before, and they would always invite me, and I would never go because I believed that it was too challenging for me to travel.
Oh,
right.
Since your injury.
Since my injury.
Okay.
Right. So I just believed that it was too difficult for me to travel. And not just that, like, you know, I need help. I don't want to put that burden on you guys. Like, I believed that I was, you know, going to bother them. And so they had this whole experience in Sedona. Everybody went out to Sedona, had a whole week of just half partying, half meditating, and doing yoga and stuff like that.
Mushrooms.
Yeah. yeah, exactly. So after that trip, he calls me and he's like, you know, we missed you on this trip. I was like, yeah, I wish I was there. He's like, well, you could have created that if you wanted to. So take me through your thought process from the time that we plan something for everybody to get together. And there's a group of us. There's 9-10 of us that are really close that take these trips together, right? He's like, so take me through your thought process from the time that we plan something to the time that we have the experience, and you're wherever you are, knowing that we're having this experience. So I tell him, I was like, well, specifically for Sedona, I was like, well, I don't know if the house is going to be accessible for me. I don't know if I'm going to fit in the bathrooms. You know, if I can't fit in the bathroom, you know, how am I going to bathe? How am I going to get to the toilet? Like, there's all these thoughts that run through my mind on how difficult it could be. He said, okay. He goes, well, quit judging the experience before you have it. Why don't you try having the experience and then enjoy that experience? Don't judge the experience, just learn from it. And for every challenge, there's always going to be a solution. He goes, so if you don't fit in the bathroom, we're all 6 foot tall. We love you. Do you think that we're not going to carry you and put you in the tub, or, you know, help you get to the toilet, or whatever it is you need? He goes, through you not choosing to come and have this experience with us, you're also taking away from us, the people that love you. We want to share these experiences with you, but you're depriving us of having those experiences with you when you choose not to come.
Wow. Repeat what he said when you have those experiences through your thought process before you even experience
Yeah,
it.
he said.
That is amazing.
Amazing.
Say that again.
He said, "Don't judge the experience before you have it. Have the experience because that's what life is, right?
Yeah.
Just a bunch of experiences.
Wow.
And we're missing out if we.
If you
Wow.
think about how many times you've gone through something, or you've been presented with an opportunity to have an experience,
Yes.
and you don't do it
You
because
don't do it.
because there's preconceived thoughts.
I thought about a lot of them when you were talking.
I'm serious.
It's
Unbelievable.
amazing.
We're depriving ourselves of those experiences,
Yes.
and that's what life is. It's just a bunch of experiences. There is no duality in life. We all come from source,
Mm-hmm.
right? We're just different expressions of the same source having a different experience.
Wow. That made me like teary, Rudy.
Oh,
You're not cry on here. I don't ever cry on here.
wow. That's so life-changing advice.
Well, thank you, but
Literally. Because that's everyone can apply that.
Yeah.
literally everybody. Everybody should apply it.
Yeah,
Well,
everybody should, yeah.
And it's that emotional intelligence thing I feel like I talked to my mom a lot about. It's like, people are so quick to get angry or frustrated or and you're kind of like, why? Like, I'm a very easygoing person. I'm just like la la in life, and I don't like anger, emotion, or anything like that. So I never really understand that. And I try to tell her about emotional intelligence, not letting your emotions just take over everything to make you have anxiety and not sleep. And we have this one life. And with your situation, it shows that in a second, everything can change so
Absolutely.
fast in one moment. 1 minute.
Yeah.
And you want to take advantage of this life that we have.
That's why it's important to stay present.
Mm-hmm.
And think, when you go to dinner tonight, look around and look at how many people are on their phones.
I know.
Yep.
They're just not present. And they're checking themselves out of real life.
Mm-hmm.
This is our real life,
True experience.
true experience.
I say that all the time.
So
Love it.
the first trip you took, because I know you took some trips.
So yes, so that led me right. So I started really thinking about what Ben told me. I was like, man, it makes a lot of sense. Like I need to stop judging the experience before I have it, and wondering or thinking about all these challenges that can present themselves. Because what if those challenges don't even present themselves?
Mm-hmm.
I'm missing out on so much just because my mind is controlling me.
So give us a timeline. When was this kind of epiphany moment?
So this was back in like February.
So pretty recent.
Just recent.
Yeah, just recent. February. So I went on a trip to Arkansas with my son, and we went shooting guns out there. And it's the first
Look at his big smile.
it's the first trip that I've taken by myself.
So it's just you and him.
Just us two. Yeah.
Wow.
So I drove. We went to a friend of ours lives in Arkansas, and they have a bunch of land out there. So I went to their house and just had fun. So that was the first, and I took that one
Little baby
light.
steps.
Yeah, it was baby steps, right? So I was like, okay, let me just play with this a little bit before I just jump in. And then for my birthday, I went to Medellin, Colombia.
That's a huge trip. You didn't just go.
Yeah.
He's like, I
go
took a baby
Miami.
step and then I went to Colombia.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And did you go with friends?
I did. We went to Miami. It was for my 40th birthday, which is why I wasn't here
Right.
in our original day, which I'm so sorry.
It's
That's
totally
okay.
fine. You're here now. That's
Yeah.
the most important.
So it was for my 40th birthday, and so we all met up, all my friends, like they surprised me in Miami. So I opened the hotel room,
No
and
way.
they're all there waiting for me.
Oh,
What?
wow.
Yeah, it
So
was-
how did you? Who did you go with?
Giovanni,
So just one friend.
one friend. So we traveled to Miami together, and in Miami, all my friends were waiting for me.
How
wow,
cool
that's
was
awesome.
that?
Yeah,
That
it
is
was amazing.
awesome.
So then we went to space and just raved all night. I killed the dance floor.
I love that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and so then G and I hopped over to Colombia from there.
So it's just you two at Columbia.
Yeah, and then another friend of ours, Carlos, met up
So
with
it's the
us.
whole crew in Miami.
The whole cruise in Miami.
and then
Yeah, and then Carlos is from Colombia, so he was already in Colombia. He was in a different city though, and so we went to Medellin. And
I hear it's gorgeous.
Oh, it's
Beautiful.
amazing.
Mhm.
it's amazing.
Wow.
If you have a chance to go,
Go.
and it's so inexpensive too.
And isn't it like really the people are super peaceful and amazing?
Yeah,
That's
and
what I hear.
the food's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, the food's amazing and everything's amazing. They call it the city of eternal spring
Hmm.
because
Wow.
the weather's literally it's spring year.
Perfect.
It's spring year round over there.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Neither.
So Colombia or Medellin specifically, it's a huge city built in a valley in between a bunch of mountains, right? So the further out the city extends, it goes up the mountains. So literally you can change the weather just by driving any direction.
Wow.
Wow.
That's amazing. How long were you there?
I was there for a week. And let me tell you, it is the most inaccessible city in the world.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and there were so many challenges, but
Talk about it. Tell
a-
us a few. Like
a-
what were some of your experiences?
well, every restaurant had steps and no elevators. Literally every single one.
And no ramps.
Like steps,
No ramps.
like second floor, third
Yeah.
floor.
Bathrooms were on second floors, third floors. Bathroom doors weren't big enough for my wheelchair to get into.
So all those things that you were worried about, they
They happened.
happened.
Yeah.
And when you're experiencing that, is your thought process calm as you're trying to solve the problem?
Now it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before it probably would have been a little panicky.
Yeah.
But now, yeah, it's pretty calm. It's just more like, okay, well, my whole life now is adapting. You know, I adapt to everything. So it's nothing new. It's just adapting. Okay, how can I use the bathroom without getting into the actual bathroom? But there's solutions for everything. So like when I was in Colombia and I needed to get into a restaurant and there was a 6-7 steps or stairs that I had to go up. I mean, literally, there was the staff at the restaurant would come and just carry me
Oh,
up the stairs.
Wow.
Felt like an Egyptian king.
That's a good positive way to spin it.
Yeah,
After a while, you're like,
yeah.
That's awesome.
So when this accident happened, were you in a relationship?
I had
or
just
were you single?
well, I was so his mom and I had just parted ways maybe like 3 months before
No way.
that. So I was single, but I was loving life. I was traveling. I had just gone to Cuba.
Wow.
I was in LA the week before. Like I'd taken like 10, 12 trips in those 3 months leading up to my injury.
So that's something you do also. You're like cruise. You like to travel. a
Love
lot.
to travel.
loves to
Yeah.
travel.
Love
So-
to travel.
Then having this experience, what your friend said to you is the best thing ever because you can go back to doing that.
Yeah. I mean, and that's why now it's just playing with experiences now, you know? So, I went to Tulum. Tulum's not very accessible either, by the
Tulum's
way.
the second
Most inaccessible. Yeah. It's not accessible at all, but
And the beach is like,
yeah, like my wheelchair does not move in the sand.
right.
Wow, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
And
They
it's
have
all-
those
it's all-
wheelchairs with the big wheels.
It's all
for the-
graveled roads
Yeah.
and bumpy holes.
Yeah.
So how was that experience?
Oh man, it was amazing. It was amazing just being with all my friends and
And you went with the whole crew that was in Miami, right?
yeah, the whole crew was in Miami was there in Tulum.
So you had a lot more people kind of.
Yeah.
Does that ease you or does that make you more anxious?
No, I mean, well, there's nothing to get anxious about. I mean, it it makes me happier just because I'm with my brothers. So, it's beautiful. For me, the most beautiful part is just everybody come together and just loving on each other. And I say this all the time, like this injury, like I've seen the better part of people that most people don't get to see. Like everybody's super nice to me, opening doors, trying to be helpful. Before I got injured, nobody opened the door for me.
Yeah.
Since this happened, dating, is that a thing? Do you date? Have you dated?
Ish. It's not as easy anymore. People judge, especially in a city like Dallas, right? It's difficult without the wheelchair. With the wheelchair, it's a little more difficult, but we'll see.
We'll see. I know.
There you go.
Yeah.
Tell us. I know he's in the room, but your son, when he first saw you in the hospital,
He didn't want to see me.
I know, but when he did eventually come see you,
Yeah.
right?
He was timid. I mean,
He was 5 years old.
he was 5. Yeah. And I mean, he went to bed that night with me next to him.
Mhm.
And then next time he sees me with a bunch of hoses and stuff in my body.
Terrifying.
If I was
Terrifying.
yeah, I'd be freaked out too.
Yeah, of course.
I wouldn't want to see my dad like that.
No.
And your parents,
Yeah.
were they, how did they handle all of that?
Well, my mom's she's a Christian and she's very firm on her beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
So, she just leaned on her faith a lot. My dad's a rock. He's a very quiet, man that doesn't say much,
Mm-hmm.
but he's a strong man. So, my parents have been amazing through this process.
That's awesome.
They've been one of my biggest supporters.
Do you have siblings?
I do. I have one older brother.
That had to be hard for him also.
Yeah. Yeah, he from what I hear, he was crying like a little baby at the hospital.
Yeah.
He's a big guy. It'd be funny if you saw him.
Yeah, he is a big guy.
He's a good guy too. Really good guy.
Wow.
Yeah, he's helped me tremendously as well.
I mean, I think your whole family's really been 100% supportive and
100%.
That's amazing.
yeah.
So do you have any trips coming up?
Well, I just got back from Tulum
Oh, yeah,
literally
that's right.
like 2-3 days ago, maybe. Wednesday?
Did you have fun?
Yeah, it was amazing.
And was everything kind of, people were accommodating and
Yeah,
would you do it again?
I would do it again
Yeah.
for sure. I don't at this point. I don't think that there's anything I wouldn't try.
Yeah.
So we went to Tulum. I think that we're planning Mykonos in the near future.
Wow.
great.
The
Nice.
third most inaccessible place.
Literally.
Yeah. I mean, why not? Might as well, right?
Yeah.
Man.
Wow. That's unbelievable. What's your relationship with his mom today?
Non-existent.
Non-existent. Is he with you all the time?
Yeah.
Oh,
I have
you have
full custody. Yeah.
Full custody. Wow. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, so he is really with you
Yeah.
all the time when you said that.
100% of the time.
Got it.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Rudy has his own real estate firm, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
okay.
So he does that during the day.
Yeah. On my, it's
Go
my
ahead
hobby.
and go ahead and give the plug.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tell us what
tell
it
us.
is. Tell us what it is.
It's Texas Trust Realty is my brokerage, and then House Hercules our investment firm. So
Nice.
we do a little bit of everything. So we buy and flip houses, rehab. We just decided to start buying and holding on to multifamily units, and do some.
Oh, my husband and you need to talk. What he's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Actually, that's how Rudy and I met.
Really?
He and his business partner at the time built our first salon, the Style Lab.
Yeah.
Oh,
Or actually, no, it wasn't Style. It was
It's
the
1514.
third salon, 1514.
Yeah.
Or no, it was the Lab.
The lab. There you go.
As the
Oh.
Lab. so that's how we met, and we were friends pretty much ever since. Yeah.
Mhm.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Doesn't surprise me at all.
It's easy to be friends with Cruz.
I know.
Same.
And I'm sure with you too.
I know.
Now, what else do you want to share?
This y'all are very beautiful people.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, you are the beautiful
Yeah.
one. You just taught us some
You taught us a
amazing
lot.
things that are life changing, which I think that's why we do the show. Sometimes the show is extremely hard work, and then we go, why are we doing it? And it's for people like you. That's why we do it. For real.
You're just such a brave
Yes.
person. Like to be able to come out of something like that with a positive attitude and not say poor me or, be angry at the world now or stop your life from doing things. It's
Right.
just a very inspirational story, and it's really, really amazing.
Thank you.
Very. And I mean, you have come a long way, and it takes
Mhm.
work. I want the, audience to know that, I mean, something like that takes work. You have to really work on yourself in order to fight that, darkness.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Well, thank you very much. That's very kind of you guys to say.
So we have 2 segments we do on the show. Are you willing to play along with us? Actually, we have 3 now.
Are we going to do the gossip section?
I don't know. What have you decided?
Well-
I think I like it. I don't know.
I was going to wait for the girls to come and
Okay.
then start it
Next time.
then.
Perfect.
Because they got some juicy stuff.
Hey, I have some gossip though.
You do?
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, well, then you tell it.
yeah,
You
let's do
Yeah.
it.
Spill the beans.
Okay, but first, let's do the question of the day.
All right.
The two posh girls ask the question of the day.
All right. So I have a few questions, and they're all kind of the same but different. So let's
Just do
start
one.
with number one.
We only do one.
Oh, we're only doing one. We'll have 4 of them.
We have 4 shows.
Okay, well, we'll get to all of them. All right. Well, I really like this one. I think this is going to be a good one. Okay, so is under a year of dating too soon to move in? What do you guys think? Under a year.
What do you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was going to say yes.
Too soon?
Way too soon.
Way too soon.
I don't know. I feel it just kind of depends on how long you've known the person, too. Are you dating for 1 year and you've only known the person for a year, or have you known the person for a long time? And then,
I think this question means that you just know each other
Through dating.
you're dating
under a year.
Mhm.
I don't know. I think that's tough. Have I ever done it under a year? I don't. If I have, it didn't last.
Yeah, exactly.
It's interesting because there's someone from Dallas, Corey Brooks, I think is his name.
Mm.
He used to live in Dallas and he moved to LA. I saw it on social media, and he met his girlfriend on TikTok. And he was a player before, and he met her, and it was, I mean, they are just, you don't even know, so in love and so cute and so adorable. And they say they moved in like within 6 weeks.
Wow.
I'm sure every now and then it works.
Right.
Love at first sight.
Yeah,
Sometimes
Yeah, so that's
it
a
happens.
thing.
Right?
I will never ever I know that.
Again.
Again, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, again. I'll never, ever again.
Ever again.
Not that I ever moved in under a year, but I will not live with somebody until I have a ring.
Put a ring on it.
I wonder how my situation counts or not.
Patrick?
No, your dad.
Was it under a year?
Well, he was from the United States and I lived in Austria, and he within like 3 months like rented me this crazy thing, and he was never there. So does that count?
No, because you're not living with him.
Well, I mean,
I'm going to say yes.
Maybe. I don't know.
and
I'm
then
gonna
I
say yes.
freaking moved here. I think also less than a year. I moved to the United States.
And look what happened with my dad.
Look.
So you can move to the country, but not move in with them.
Yeah, move across the country.
How about you, Spider? I know you don't want to move in with anyone, but what do you think?
No, I don't. I would like, even if we got married, separate houses.
Smart man.
Wow.
At least separate bathrooms.
Knew that was coming from Spider.
Next door, that's cool. Just not the same house.
Not at the same.
funny.
What if it's a big?
How about like a duplex?
That would work. Do that.
Duplex. Hey, my mom
You
and
did
my
not.
stepdad, they have separate rooms. They've had separate rooms for years.
bedroom?
Really?
Yeah, my best friend growing up, his parents did that same thing.
Yeah, and when they go travel, they get two hotel rooms.
What?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
I've heard of separate beds.
separate rooms because my mom does not appreciate that he does not have the same temperature in the room that she likes to have.
My God.
Wow.
I didn't even
mean,
know this.
Yeah, it's a fact.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
there we
I
go.
mean,
If we were all the same, it would be boring.
I know.
You're doing things right if you can get 2 rooms just for different temperatures.
No shit.
Exactly, right?
He's likes it too cold.
Yeah. So this next segment is a little bit risque. It's not like really bad. So I don't know. Are you okay,
okay
with
with
Yeah,
him?
just I'm all about experience.
No, but your
With
son.
him.
He's
this
You
is
care?
Is he okay to hear
the
it?
sex.
Oh, he'll be
segment.
fine.
Okay.
They'll
All right.
learn it eventually.
Earmuffs.
Party with Miss
Yeah,
Polly.
earmuffs.
It's time to party with Miss Polly.
The modern day Dr.
So Miss Polly, our modern day Dr. Ruth, we ask her questions and she answers them. And she's a certified sexual health therapist. Miss Polly right now is going through some things with her mom, and she has to take a little bit of a break from the show. So
Aw.
I know.
So I'm Miss Polly.
Yeah.
And I'm not
still gonna
certified.
it's
Do you have
gonna
a
be-
whip?
At the
I bet she
garage.
does.
At my mom's house.
We'll talk later.
Yeah.
I'm not certified.
She's not
That's all right.
certified. So when you come at her, no, she's just
I'm speaking just from.
Hypothetical.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
wait, not
Or
experience. I don't know if I've experienced these things.
Hypothesis.
Yeah. So what we're going to talk about today are the 11 things that actually surprised this
one thing.
You're
doing the
sorry,
same
I thought
thing.
you were doing 4
One
things.
thing.
We have 4 shows.
This is going well.
What's going on?
What is this? This is like our 260th show or something.
Oh,
Have you done this before?
yeah. No, never.
Wow.
Okay, we're going to talk about one thing that actually surprised this sex therapist. Lord, what is wrong with me and you? And you too. I'm just kidding.
One thing.
One thing. So, one thing is that so many people are just going through the motions during sex. Says when Engler asks people to describe their last sexual encounter, she hears about a whole lot of lackluster hookups. A lot of people will describe that nobody has their eyes open, their minds are off somewhere else. It's a fucking phone. She said, I just added that, by the way. They're not talking during sex. They're not sharing fantasies. They're just going through this mechanical, emotionless routine. You can have orgasms that way, but it's not going to motivate you. There's no passion. That's what's missing.
Wow.
Do you agree?
Interesting.
You're not in the moment.
I feel there's different types of sex, right?
Amen.
There's quickies,
Of course.
and then there's like romantic, and then there's like rough, and so I kind of feel depending on the situation, on the time, on the alcohol level.
That makes sense.
I feel that, because
And
I
the
know
stage of the relationship too, I think would.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that maybe they mean like all the time it's like that, which I would imagine like you're going through the motions all the time just to do that and you're not having any emotion in it. Would in a relationship would probably be.
I mean, there's some times where, you got morning sex and it's like, it's all about me. And then there's times where it's like,
but
all
this
right,
is all the time only. Like,
well,
no
that would
emotion.
suck.
That's what I'm saying.
So to me, this description sounds very much like what possibly a sugar daddy situation is. Like some girl is married to a guy that she's not really into.
I see.
There's no love.
I
No
see.
love.
It's what happens when you move in.
It's mechanical.
Within the
Oh
year.
yeah, that's what happens when you move in too fast. That exciting part
Mm-hmm.
dies off.
Spider, what do you think?
I don't know.
I don't know. All right. I have some gossip, guys.
Wait,
I
you have to
probably
do the thing, right? The intro. We don't have an intro.
Yes, I'm,
Oh.
I'm waiting. I'm
Oh
telling Spider that I have some gossip.
no! I thought you were gonna go into it. We're
Well,
a
I
mess.
have to tell him
Oh.
that I'm telling some gossip.
Thank God for editing.
Yeah, we'll have to.
Sorry, we're a mess today.
Actually,
It's gonna be a good one. We're gonna edit a lot
I
today.
think I'm not editing anything. I think
No,
that's
we're gonna
hilarious.
keep it.
In that case,
A mess.
welcome to the segment that we sometimes do and we sometimes don't. We don't even know what it's about, other than gossip. And today's gossip is coming straight from, I was about to say the horse's mouth, but that sounds wrong. That's all I know.
Spill the tea.
So I probably shouldn't be doing this because
But you're
All right, that's the best way to
So
start
I'm
it.
gonna preface this with these two. These two wanted the segment. Marcella, myself, I get anxiety when it comes to this, and I want to die because they're like, "Say names, say it all." I'm like,
I'm so excited. Like, I got a little bit of heat, but I do kind of want to do it.
I want to do it too.
Wow.
I think I'm a little bit worried about this one because I think for some reason, my kids, like friends, they always come over and everyone trusts me and they tell me a lot of things. It's just my thing.
And that's exactly what they told me. And I'm like, oh.
So I'm
She's like, I'm
about
gonna
to
tell you anyway.
So what's going to happen is people are not going to tell me anything anymore, but I don't care. I will find out other ways. But this happened just 2 nights ago.
Oh, the
Um,
neighbor.
All of a sudden, in our neighborhood, there's an ambulance, there's a fire truck, and police going around. And our youngest, Jolie, she's 17, and her friends were over, and they are so nosy, it's not even funny. They're like over the
That's how we're going to find out
wall,
everything.
and they are like going, "What is this?" And then they go, "Mom, go find out what's going on." They're like pushing me literally. So I do go outside because I want to know what's going on. I mean, there's police
Twist my
outside.
arm.
Nosy
Twist my
neighbors.
arm.
Yeah.
And I see that the police is talking to my next door neighbor, and I go up, I just go, "Are you okay?" And she goes, just gives me like a funny look. So I'm like, well, I don't want to interrupt the cop, right? So I go back in. And then Jolie and them tell me that they heard mental hospital, not mental hospital. There's all this commotion going around, and she's running back and forth to the cop. And make a long story short, they leave, and then about 2 hours later, my doorbell rings, and she comes over, and she tells me everything.
Oh my
Her
gosh.
husband,
Hopefully, she don't listen to this show.
her husband, started like having this episode of where he's cussing her out, and she gets mad at him and she slams the door, and next thing she knows, he comes down the stairs and he cut his wrists all the way up
Oh.
to his elbows, bleeding. And her daughter goes, "Call 911, call 911." Well, when they called 911, he ran out the house, he ran away like a little kid. I'm like, what is this all about? He runs to
Ran in
the
the bushes.
So is he like bleeding to death or is.
well, she's telling me, she's a nurse, and she goes, "He's full of crap. He's a pussy because he cut it this way. If he really wanted to die, he
Oh
would
my
have cut it this
God,
way."
savage.
No.
Literally, she told
Do
me.
it right next time.
I know, right? Let me show you how.
Oh, God.
Oh my God.
Wow.
And she's like, "And I'm not a Jerry Springer kind of person, and now all the neighbors know, and and now I'm telling everybody."
Oh, my God.
She's like, "I'm not a Jerry Springer person," and she's well, anyways, he ran away and then resisted the cops and everybody, so they actually had to throw him to the ground, handcuff him with his bloody arms. And then they took him to a mental institution on a 5150 hold for 72 hours.
What is a 5150?
Like they...
Oh, we talked about this.
It's like
one.
Britney Spears, when she shaved her head. that kind of thing.
It's when you have to stay. I forget what the 5150 is for.
I don't know what that means either, but it's like he has to be there for 72 hours.
And he has no option.
No visitors, no nothing.
Wow.
And he can't, like, out of the mental institution, he can't say he wants to leave. Like, he has to stay.
Mm-hmm.
It's not voluntary.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there you go.
So her neighbors are crazy.
So what's the update?
5150
Oh, what is it?
Talk to me.
is the number of the section of the Welfare Institutions Code which allows an adult who is experiencing a mental health crisis to be involuntarily detained for a 72-hour psychiatric hospitalization.
Oh. Yeah, so that
3 days.
3 days.
It's
He's
forcing,
still in there.
forcing you in there. Yeah.
He's still there. I don't have an update. This just happened.
When did this happen?
Thursday
2
night.
nights ago.
I called her on my way home from the dance studio. She's like, whispering, she's like, sorry, we're outside. Jolie and her friends are over the fence. I was like, what is going on? She's like, there's someone in the back of the cop car. I'm like, what? Your neighbor?
I'm getting some juice for the podcast.
Yeah, we need video next time.
I
For
know.
real.
I'm shocked you didn't get video.
I got video of Jolie and her friends though.
Yeah, that's true. Well, and then she said, her phone is always loud and on.
Oh yeah.
And she said they were like
When you
peeking, and when
called.
I called, it was like loud, and the girls were like, drop down. So scared because
Oh my goodness.
I interrupted.
Just crazy
Oh
drama,
my God.
And
I wonder what happened.
No.
what
I would
I
love to know the
I think-
juice.
I think what happened is that he used to be an alcoholic, got sober, and now is drinking again and is abusive. That's what I think.
Happened.
She just wasn't putting up with it.
Guess not. I don't know.
And then he had a
That's-
temper tantrum and
Yeah.
decided to
yeah.
slit his own wrist.
They need to meditate.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody
Emotional
needs to meditate.
intelligence.
Do you know that I literally was, as I'm telling the story, I was thinking about you because I was like, when this was going on and when she was telling me, I was thinking to myself, I could never live in that environment. I need peace, like calm.
Yeah.
I can't. That thought, that whole thing, that whole scenario, I think is so unhealthy.
But I've been really big about wanting peace in my life in
Mhm.
all avenues. Like if
Mhm.
you come in and if you give me like anxiety or even like an energy, I've been very sensitive to like, I need peace all the way around. So if you're not going to provide that, I have to like leave the scenario or
Cut them off.
I'm serious. I just can't do it. Like my own mental health is like,
Good for you.
yeah, I can't do the drama.
I was I was also thinking about her. No, this is like gossip, but at the same time, I was thinking about her in a situation and what you should do. And I'm not licensed either, but I'm telling you, what she should do is she should insist that he goes and gets help for his alcoholism, and she should separate herself from this relationship until he has help, and then they can maybe try again. I think the whole cycle of craziness always happens because now he's going to come home and then this happens again and again and again,
Yep.
People are addicted to those emotions, though.
My husband said that. He said that's an addiction in itself.
It is.
The drama.
The drama.
And they're
Uh-huh.
programmed, to
Yes.
identify with those emotions.
Yeah.
So if they don't feel those emotions, they don't feel like themselves.
Right.
Does that happen over time, or do you think that's something that happens younger, or like?
I think it's
All the above.
yeah,
Yeah. Wow.
it's a belief system that you
Mhm.
create. I mean, we have belief systems that we don't even realize we have
Mm-hmm.
growing up that we get from our parents.
Right. I
Yeah.
believe that. Our mind is so strong and powerful. It's crazy
It is.
Yeah.
in a positive
is.
or negative way.
Yeah.
That is for sure.
Well, I believe there's no good or bad. It's just different
It's all perspective.
Yeah.
because you can look at my situation and say that's horrible, but
True.
is it really? Because I wouldn't be who I am today without it.
That's true. That's a very, again, brave way of thinking about it. I don't know many people who can get there, even with some small things that happen. That
They
aren't
do say
as
though
big.
that the toughest situations make you more of who you are, and
Yeah.
they teach you, and
If it doesn't kill you, it makes
Makes
you
you
stronger.
stronger.
Yeah.
Well, Rudy, we are honored to have had you on the show. I hope you enjoyed it a little bit. I know what I know beyond the shadow of a doubt is that you have so many tidbits in here to help people,
Yes.
everyone. And if someone should be in a situation like yours, you will help them too.
100%.
1,000,000%. Yeah.
Yes, thank you for being on the
Thank
show.
you.
were
Thank you for
We
having me.
appreciate you
inspiring.
very much.
And when people listen to this, I
You wanna
mean,
say
it's
something?
it's gonna be hard.
Come over here. Your son wants to say something.
Go around that way. I have a big butt.
What do you want? Here,
Yeah. Talk right in the microphone. Go ahead.
Can I plug in my YouTube?
Of course. Yes, please do.
Ego.
Oh, that's what he wanted
Ego.
to say. No, yes. Come on.
It's Zenchi81-YT.
Can you
Okay,
spell
spell it.
that?
ZENCHI81-YT.
What do you do on YouTube?
I play video games like Fortnite, Minecraft,
And you
etc.
do how many followers do you have?
Currently like 8 or 9.
So we got to get you some followers.
Yeah.
Y'all go follow him right now.
Exactly.
Tell them what Zenchi stands for.
So Zen is peaceful, and Chi is energy,
Nice.
and then the 81 stands for my dad's birthday.
Worth it.
Nice.
Peaceful energy.
Since I have you right there, tell us, what do you think of your dad?
I think he's a really great person.
Yes.
Do you mind helping him?
No, not at all.
Not at all.
I mean, like, I'm with him every single day.
And so it's becoming normal to help him with everything, huh?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, you're an amazing young man. Keep it that way, okay? Promise.
I will.
We're going to check up on you as the years go on. And you got to be a stand-up, wonderful person like you are now, right?
And like your dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
I'm
is
sure the
really-
apple doesn't fall far.
No.
from the tree.
Yeah, you're wonderful. Thank you.
Thank
And go
you.
follow his YouTube.
Yes, everybody. We're going to make sure of that.
Thank you.
No, it's because
Thank
like YouTube gives me a notification on my dad's phone that I'm subscribed.
And that's exciting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well,
thank
that's
you.
awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.